for some reindeer. Because my project is reindeer and I have a hat that is a reindeer, can't you tell?
What would you, if you were to ask a question about a reindeer, what would you ask?
How are caribou like reindeer?
How are caribou like reindeer?
They're the exact same.
I'm looking for some deer. I'm specifically looking what kind of deer. Guys, over there. Oh my gosh. Guys, are those reindeer?
Nah.
No? That wasn't a reindeer?
So.
Oh wait, Molly, there's one on your head.
Yeah, there's one in my head. Oh yeah. We've been looking everywhere. No such thing as reindeer. Oh my gosh.
Look,
This is
slow.
Thunder.
Thunder.
All right, Thunder's our boy. We also have a girl. Her name is Jingles.
I can tell
right.
because of the size.
Ah, yeah, he's much bigger. And the boys, oh, excuse you. Wow.
Sounds like our dog.
And that's what they do. Reindeer burp a lot.
Oh, that was a burp? I thought
Yep.
it was a snort.
Oh, that was a burp. Because what reindeer do is they chew their cud. You ever hear that before?
No.
Well, it's like cows. When they eat grass and stuff, what they do, they have 5 chambers in their stomach. Okay, so it goes into one chamber and then they burp it back up and they chew some more, and they keep doing that because it really breaks down the food and they can get the most, the vitamins and stuff out of it. So when you see goats are the same thing, they're called ruminants.
They're all
So, and they're exactly, they could, because they eat grass and stuff. So they eat that, then they, unlike a horse, see, horses aren't ruminants, they just eat it and it goes through, but cows and goats and sheep and deer, they all chew it and they bring it back up and they chew it some more until they break it down.
Digest.
Yep, so they can digest better, exactly. So in the winter, what they do is they grow this very thick fur, all right, because where they are, it's very cold. Now, we were talking to the difference about caribou, right, and reindeer. Well, reindeer are from Europe. That's one of the differences. They're smaller than caribou, all right, and they come in different colors. Now, this is the same color that a caribou would be. Oh, there's another burp. This is the same color that a caribou would be, but reindeer come in this color. They come in white, they come in silver, they come in pinto, which means they have spots. So they come in a whole variety of colors. So that's the, one of the differences between reindeer and caribou. But the biggest difference, of course, is that, like we said before, reindeer are domesticated. So you can go over and put a leash on a reindeer real easy, but you wouldn't be able to do that to a caribou. All right?
Caribou are more stubborn.
Well, they're wild, they've never been trained, so they don't know, where reindeer have been pets. See, he's gonna eat some grass. There you go. So now their fur is very thick because where they come from, it's cold all winter. It's much colder than here. So when they snow, when it snows, they love it. But their fur is kind of like a polar bear's hair, where it's hollow. So what happens is, when they're out in the snow, the heat doesn't come out of that hair, it stays inside. So the snow might be on them, but it won't melt. Whereas if the snow falls on your head, what happens usually?
It usually turns to water.
All right, it turns to water because it melts, because there's
Your body
heat exactly, it's coming out of your head. That's where a lot of your heat comes out of. That's why you wear a hat, to keep your heat in. Well, that's like their hat, except it's their body hat, and it doesn't allow the heat to come out, so the snow won't melt. So you come out sometimes after a big snowstorm and it looks like somebody made snowman shaped like reindeer because they're just under all the snow. All right? But as soon as the weather starts to get warmer, what's going to happen is he's going to shed all this. It's going to come out in big patches. And he's gonna shed all that hair, and underneath he has very short, dark brown hair, kind of like by his nose there. See how that is? Well, that's how his whole body looks. And by that time, he won't have his antlers. Because what happens is their antlers fall off every year and they grow new ones. Just like the deer around here, just like moose. But the difference from deer around here, which are the white-tailed deer, is that only the boy white-tailed deer and the boy moose get antlers. But reindeer and caribou, both the boys and the girls, get antlers.
Oh. And also, are those its antlers?
Inside there, yep. And when we're done with him, I'll bring one of those antlers so you can feel an antler. How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right.
Their antlers are so nice.
They are. They're very nice. They're very heavy too, as you'll see. And you can see they're a little dirty because when reindeer sleep, what they do is they lay down and they put their chin down, and then their head starts to move over like this as they fall asleep. And next thing you know, their antler's laying on the ground. So you can see he was laying down before because he's got some dirt on there.
And it seems he has a special side he lays on.
The girl?
He has a what?
A special side he lays on too.
Oh yeah,
Like a pro-
he tends to lay that way. I see a little bit on this side, but usually he lays on that side more. But as you can see, maybe it's not his favorite side. Maybe it's just because that side's a little heavier. See how that
It's like
side's
leaning
bigger?
that way.
Yeah, so that'll just kind of pull it
does
that
look
way.
bigger too.
And that is bigger.
I think.
And reindeer, they start growing their antlers right after they're born. All right, where deer around here, they don't grow them till the next year. When they're a year old, they start growing. But reindeer, the little babies, in about a week or so, start growing little nubs. So they already have antlers by the winter. But they're not like this. They're usually like just one stick. See? And then every year, they fall off and they grow and they get bigger. And they get bigger the year after that. And they get bigger the year after that. Until probably around 8 years old, and then they'll max out. So at whatever size they are at 8 years, when he turns 9, they'll probably be around that same size again.
And they shed them all the way down to the nub?
Yep, they come all the way off. They look more like cows when they lose their antlers. And as you can see, their face kind of looks like a cow, doesn't it? Here, come around, turn around, everybody. There you go. See how his face is kind of cow-shaped, more than a deer, right?
Yeah.
So without the antlers, he looks like a cow. And one of the differences from reindeer and caribou from other deer is, look, their noses are covered with fur. Like white-tailed deer, they just have a black leathery nose. But reindeer, because it's so cold where they're from, they grow fur on their nose too. And this right here is called a shovel, because when the boy reindeer are fighting or even playing, but a lot of times they fight, and that's how they
That's why
figure
they have
things out.
antlers.
What?
That's why they have antlers.
Exactly. They have antlers when they fight, but also for protection. Sometimes in the wild, bear or wolves come and they'll try to, eat a caribou or a reindeer, and that's how they protect themselves. So they will fight off predators with that. But this part, the shovel, helps to protect their face. That's why it grows out in front of their face like that. But the girls, see how the girls don't have them? Jingle's over there, she doesn't have a shovel.
So the two of them don't fight? Like
No,
that.
once in a while, they might get a little cranky, but usually they don't.
Are they
You know?
brother and sister?
Nope, they are not. So hopefully, maybe one day we'll have a little baby reindeer. So we're hoping. Now another interesting thing, if you listen real carefully, I'm just gonna walk him and see if you hear any sounds when you walk. Hear that?
Yeah.
What does it sound like?
Cramped legs.
Huh?
He's got cramped legs.
Cramped legs?
And also it sounds like things like popping.
Popping, right. Clicking, right? Snapping, maybe, right? That's exactly. Let's see if we can hear it again. Come on. Hear that? Almost like a fire crackling, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have little tendons in their legs that snap and make that sound, because when there's a blizzard up at the North Pole, they can't see one another because there's so much snow coming down, but they listen and they can hear where all the snapping's coming from, and they can find the rest of the herd. That's why they snap like that. You've heard of up on the housetop, click, 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 right? It's not their hooves clicking, it's their legs clicking.
Is that interesting, Molly?
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool,
He
right,
just-
guys?
And you see how big their hooves are, right? Those are big, and see how they're split like that. So up in the snow, that that helps them. They're kind of like snowshoes. They want nice big feet like that.
Being wide like that gives them more stability.
Yeah,
and stuff
just like a
that?
snowshoe. If you put a snowshoe on, you don't sink so much into the snow.
Oh, I see. See that, Molly? See how wide the feet are and stuff to give them more stability so they don't sink into the snow.
Do you have any questions for me?
What do they?
What was that?
eat?
What do they eat? That's a good question. Well, they eat grass, they eat hay. Up at the North Pole, they get carrots and oats, and they love corn, and they also eat lichen. You know what lichen is? Lichen is, it looks like a moss. It's part algae, part fungus. Okay? So, and I'll show you some because we have some. In fact, it grows on the trees. If some of the trees around here they have like little green like see those little tiny green patches on the bark there? They're little tiny. That's one kind of lichen, and they like that. But there's also one that grows on the ground, especially at the North Pole. And what they do is there's not a lot of food in the winter for them. They dig around in the snow and they find lichen, and that's what they eat most of the winter. Most of the eating that they do is in the summer, and that's when they put on their weight. This way, when there's not a lot of food in the winter, they've already got their fat supply on, and they live off their fat.
What time do they lose their antlers?
Well, usually the boys lose them anywhere from the end of December and January. The girls usually lose theirs around April. After they have their babies, they usually lose them. This way they can have a baby and they can protect their babies, from any predators until the baby's fast enough to run on its own.
So he's probably gonna lose his antlers soon.
Yep, you can lose them any day. I might come in here tomorrow and find one missing.
Perfect timing then.
Yep. And apples too. Some of them like apples. Like Jingle's over there, she loves apples. He's a little fussier, but
Pick
yeah, and he's
we
burping
heard
it.
that.
He acknowledged that.
See that? That's right. The antlers from last year, if you want to hold that one.
It's like a bone,
Wait,
right?
Molly, can I hold it? I want to see how
I think
No,
just
can I-
just be careful that you don't hit your eye, okay? So you always put those points away from you, just like that.
That's a good question, Bill. You could ask that question.
What are antlers put it down by your knees.
Well, when they're growing, they're a tissue, very soft. If you squeeze your arm, that's what they feel like, and there's a lot of blood in them. And then they harden up. When they're growing, they have fur on them. It's called velvet. So after they harden and it's like bone. And after it hardens like that, they rub the velvet off of them, and that's what it looks like underneath. But when they're growing, if they hit it, it could bleed.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
In fact, if
What
you
does it
look
feel
on
like,
there,
Molly? Does it feel soft, Molly, or does it feel hard?
It feels soft. It feels hard.
Like I feel like a bone, Molly, or does it feel like
A
kind of
bone.
like a bone? Okay.
Are antlers bones?
yeah, they basically turn into a bone, just like you see in there. See how that looks? If you ever cut a bone in half, that's kind of what it looks like that. And then if you look on there, you'll see there's little lines. See those little lines on there?
It sounds like they're killing themselves.
See those?
Oh, yeah.
That's where the veins are when they're growing.
What is that?
This right here is that lichen I was telling you about. That's what they eat in the, in the tundra. They dig for that. They paw at it with their front hooves, and that's what they find under the snow.
It looks sort of like
See, Molly, so
coral.
that stuff is because it could dry out, right? And it could still be.
Yep, they dry it out, and they'll eat it, wet or dry.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
And that, Molly, see where like the lines are? That's where like the veins were.
Where the
Stuff.
blood
The
would
blood
go
was
through.
flowing through, and that was like on top of the reindeer still. Which reindeer was this from? Is this, you remember? or-
This one was from Jingles.
Yeah, it looks smaller.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
see either.
Female.
And remember that part that I said that's in the front? You
Yeah,
remember what that
I
was
was-
called? Remember on Thunder?
The shovel.
Right.
Oh, good job,
Excellent.
Mom.
Look.
What'd she say?
See, she
The
doesn't have
shovel?
a shovel. The shovel
Oh.
would be coming out here, and there was no shovel. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna go get Thunder's antler from last year, and you can see how much heavier it is than hers. All right.
What's that?
All right. So this is Thunder's.
Do
Just
like
make
a
sure
little
the
honeycomb music.
points point away from you. Okay. You see how much heavier that is?
Yeah.
Because the boys, their antlers are denser, they're thicker, and they're more solid.
Here, like over here.
Whoa. This part is called the shovel, and it goes down by the boy's face.
What does he do with it?
It protects his face.
Nubs.
And what does it have on it?
It has fur.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
good.
And it feels like tissue. It's tissue.
Does it feel soft or hard when it's growing? Look at the camera.
Soft.
How does it feel now?
Hard.
I know, but
These
now
are
you
much
got a
bigger.
shovel. There, how's that?
Oh, that's good.
It's like in the Grinch.
She's Max.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, Keaton.
This is Jingle.
Hey, don't touch the reindeer though.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I had a fun time.
Good, I'm glad you did.
What do you say, Jill?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.